Welcome to your 12-minute HR lesson. Today, we're going to talk about low-hanging fruit. We're going to talk about health and safety, and we're going to talk about bullying. But that's just context to the larger idea. What I want you to take away from this is don't get caught in the trap of victory lapping. Don't get caught in the trap of recycling old ideas that have done their dash while avoiding the need to up your game. Find the medium hanging fruit and start dealing with that. I want you to learn how to say, okay, we've done that, we've been there, we've got all we can out of those tools. Give me something new. Give me something new I can work with. So let's go. So we've been putting out these podcasts for a couple of months now. And after listening to a couple, you probably notice I like to keep coming back to adages. I keep coming back to metaphors, to analogies, and hopefully avoiding cliches. I do this because figurative language can convey a lot of useful information succinctly and effectively. They can paint quite complex pictures in your head quite effectively. Now, what I try to avoid is jargon, and there is a difference between figurative language and jargon, but that's a topic for another day. Today, I want to talk to you about one of my favorite concepts that my brain keeps reaching for, and that is the low-hanging fruit. So let's unpack what a low-hanging fruit is. To put it succinctly, the concept of low-hanging fruit is that there are things worth getting that can easily be got. There are easily accessible, easily achievable, valuable outcomes that we can get to. But in addition to this, there's two other embedded concepts. And this is why I like the term, because it carries so much complexity. In addition to the idea that there are low-hanging fruit, there is also the implication that there is a finite amount of them. There is scarcity about low-hanging fruit. We can get all of the low-hanging fruit, but there's only so many. They are only a proportion of all of the fruit in the tree. So we're only going to get 20%, 30%, depending on the tree, depending on the fruit, but we're not going to get all of them. And essentially it's going to be less than half. The other embedded concept, which is really interesting, is that there is more fruit to be had that is not low-hanging. There is high-hanging fruit. There is medium-hanging fruit. There is more gains to be made. There are more things to get that are worth getting, but they are not easily reachable. You have to get a ladder. You have to get tools. You have to put some effort in. Some of that might not be worth it. Some of it, just the cost to benefit ratio doesn't pay off. You can't get to every fruit, but there's a continuum, there's a scale, there's the easy stuff. But beyond that, there's stuff that probably is worth getting, that isn't easy to get, but with a bit of effort and a bit of spend, it's still worth it. And then there's the stuff that you're never going to get to. It's not worth it. We are in diminishing returns on this one. So now that we've talked about fruit, let's talk about health and safety, because low-hanging fruit and diminishing returns is a real issue in health and safety. And there's lots of theory, there's lots of ideas, there's lots of different models in health and safety, all of which are very useful. And a lot of those concepts, particularly when you get into the field of safety culture, does tend to think in terms of a hierarchy, tend to think in terms of, okay, easy wins, simple stuff, getting the basics right, and then beyond that, trying to find the next level and the new ideas that are going to get us from doing the basics to the more complex stuff. I'm oversimplifying a little bit here. I used to be a health and safety lecturer, so I'm reasonably across this area of the field. But you can see the clear analogy, like the clear element of diminishing returns of low-hanging fruit within health and safety. There's lots of things that an organisation can get right, lots of easy fixes, and if they're not doing that, then they need to do that. They've got to get their PPE right, they've got to get their training right, they've got to get their controls, they've got to get their hazard ID, they've got to get their hazard review, they've got to get their management by walking around, and all these little things that they can do to fix the gaps. But what do you do once you've fixed the gaps? Because here's the unfortunate complexity of health and safety. You can have everybody doing everything in its place and everything working safely, so far as you can tell, but still have accidents. And that's where you get into the medium to high hanging fruit. Okay, what is the behavior? What is the management? What is the leadership style? What are the values that people are bringing in that we need to re-educate them on? And I've sat in many a health and safety committee and management meeting in which we have said, right, we're doing all the things that we ought to. We've fixed all the gaps. What do we do now? Because we're still having accidents. Our accident rate is good, but we want to do better. And one of the problems that health and safety has is there's no clear and obvious solutions. They have to start finding new ideas. And that's a lot of where the ideas of safety culture came from. People going, okay, we've done all the basics, we've got everything right. Now what? How do we hit those medium hanging fruit? How do we aim for the high hanging fruit? We might be doing better than other organisations, but we've still got room for improvement. So now we're going to move into part 3. Part 3 is where I start talking to you about what you should be doing differently. But I want to throw in another quick concept, and that is patting oneself on the back or taking a victory lap. It's my observation that as a group, HR has a tendency to victory lapping and recycling old ideas to try and catch the same low-hanging fruit again and again, and we shy away from the medium to the higher hanging fruit because those require new ideas, new effort, more complexity, harder work, diminishing returns, and that's complex. And we don't have new ideas, so what we're doing is we're going back to the old stuff. We're playing repeats. So let me give you an example. Let's talk about workplace bullying. I've spent a lot of time investigating workplace bullying. I've taught a lot of courses on workplace bullying. So I've got a reasonably complex understanding of the nuances and the range of behaviours that we see in workplace bullying. What I see HR as a group doing is sticking to the simple stuff, sticking to the low-hanging fruit, having a bullying policy, having awareness weeks, doing a lot of window dressing where the primary focus seems to be saying no to bullying, and on the assumption that we have in the workplace is bullies, intentional bullies, people who are there with the intent of causing harm, and that is their objective and that is their motivation. I know I'm strawmanning a little bit, but I feel everybody else is strawmanning too. What we want to do is find bullies in our workplace, like there's some caricature of a 10-year-old in the schoolyard, and we're going to get rid of those people. Maybe that was a problem 5 years ago, but we've done that many times. We've had a crack at those, and we've pulled out all of those tools. If we still have a problem, the old tools aren't the solution. We've hit the low-hanging fruit, but we keep hitting them again thinking we're going to get different results or improvements with the same old solutions. So what do I want you to do? This is what I want you to think about. Imagine you're a health and safety manager. You get a consultant in, and they come in and say, look, okay, we're going to fix it. What we're going to do is you need PPE. Let's get you sorted out for PPE. You are the health and safety manager are going to say, we've done that. We're on top of that. We've got it all. Everybody's wearing it. We're checking it. We're certain. That tool has been used and it's working. What else have you got for me? Oh, okay, guarding. We'll get lots of guarding. Yeah, we've done that. We've sorted that. You're giving me the old hits. Play me something new. That's what we need to do more in HR. We need to start saying more, okay, we've tried that. We've been there. Whatever gains, we've already gained. The gains have been made. We're not going to get more blood out of that stone. Gosh, I'm mixing my metaphors in here, but I think you get the point. We as a group need to start looking for the higher hanging fruit. We need to stop trying to pick the same low hanging fruit twice. Wouldst I leave you so unsatisfied? This is an epilogue before the epilogue. I can sense your frustration. I've taunted you and I've tempted you and dangled new ideas in workplace bullying, but I haven't given you anything. And if I left it there, you'd walk away going, what a tease. So here we go. If you're looking for new ideas in workplace bullying, most people aren't bullies by intent. Stop thinking in terms of people. Think in terms of a type of behavior that anyone can do. We're not trying to get rid of the people. We're trying to get rid of sets of behaviors that anyone can be guilty of. I'll give you an example. Would you climb up a ladder and paint your house? Yeah, you would. So would I. Everybody would. Can you do that in the workplace? No, because a ladder is an access. It's not a platform. In health and safety, a big focus is when you walk in the door, you can't do what you would do at home. You need to do things how we do things around here. When we are dealing with workplace bullying, we need to focus on the types of behaviors that people will do and say, okay, you can do that with your friends, you can do that with your family, but you can't do that here. It's about not identifying people, but identifying behaviors within people that we need to say, okay, find a different way of doing that. That isn't cool around here. Right, so the actual epilogue now, the second epilogue. Thank you for listening. We do offer courses in this space. Our How to Deal with Difficult Allegations is very much along the line of dealing with bullying. I don't want to make it so simple as it's just a course on bullying, because there are some real common threads that run through difficult allegations. There's also sexual harassment allegations, there's inappropriate behavior allegations. All of these things are different flavors of the same issue. Ambiguous behavior that is most likely not intended, but can easily be interpreted, and fairly interpreted, as inappropriate. So if you're interested in knowing more about this, there is that course. If you want to talk to us directly about how we can help you rethink your bullying strategy, or help you come up with new ideas so that you aren't just trying to solve the same problem with the old answers, we can help with that. Check us out at pragmatichrm.nz. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Thanks.